Hey, it's Sol, and this is Warcraft Weekly, your background noise as you're playing Diablo 4. Hit the like button, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and we're gonna be quick, so let's get right to it. With the Diablo 4 early launch live as of you watching this, one would expect the World of Warcraft to be very light on the news and development side, but that's hardly the case. It seems like it's business as usual. Another round of items made it to the trading post, and for those of you who have been mount starved, you're in for a treat. There's a bee-looking mount, a bird mount for getting the 1000 tender for the month, and this one that I want to talk about a little bit more, the Cindermane Charger. It's one of the few winged horses in WoW, and it came from an earlier version of the Recruit a Friend program. This is the first time we're seeing items from that feature, which opens up the door for more retired mounts from the system, which is great for those who are feeling the FOMO. It also addresses an obvious concern about how it took more exceptional amounts of real money if you wanted to get those mounts or pets without the friend part of the system. So here's a look at the old rewards, mounts and pets, including my personal signature mount, the Touring Rocket. It was super special at the time as one of the earliest two-seater mounts, so yeah, I was one of the people that pulled some shenanigans to get this for myself. With the trading post introducing this charger, the door has opened up for everyone to get a shot at any of these, and I am nothing but
infuriated. How dare the rabble get something that I worked so hard to get on my own? I thought I was special, Blizz.
There are any number of things that could go on the trading post or a Prime Gaming drop, preferably the trading post because that doesn't cost us an additional subscription. One thing I hope to see sometime, the Primal Flame Saber or the Flaming Charger mounts. Those were part of a Heroes of the Storm promotion, and I thought those were very, very cool. The 10.15 PTR also updated this week, finally introducing the new Mega Dungeon to test out. It's reassuring that it's finally in test. Historically, the Mega Dungeon hasn't needed a ton of testing because, well, to be honest, the real testing is going to come from when it's live, and the more final version is going to come later with Mythic Plus, Sneaky Blizz. I do have some small concerns that there's no loot table for us to look at. Folks have discovered that the visuals will include infinite Dragonflight tints of the armor that we've seen in 10.1, as well as infinite colors for our dragon riding mount. Now, as for the actual gear, I'm accustomed to seeing items with placeholder names at the very least, and, well, an idea of what's to come so I can gush over trinket selections. I guess my reassurance, though, is at a net neutral when I talk about when this patch is coming out. I'm still going to stick to late June and early July as my prediction. Most of the features are testable with the exception of the public event and the so-called returning player improvements. I could easily be proven wrong as always, but the time rifts are a feature that I'm becoming a little bit less hopeful for with regards to its quality, because remember the Storm's Fury event in patch 10.0.5? It's where you hung out in the Primalist future and you had to hold on to some portals before some big dude comes out and you get some cosmetics and gear, and that grind was quickly made irrelevant. That's kind of the gut feeling that I have with these time rifts. I hope that they're fun, but I have a feeling that in terms of testable features, just like the Storm's Fury event, it's gonna come late, with the efforts of the development team being in favor of more lasting features, you know, like a mega dungeon and a whole ass specialization. As always, I hope I'm wrong, and I often am, so that should help you feel better. Some data mined information also brings to light Blizzard's longer term plans for dragon racing, and I speculate that this hints at the team's longer term plans for World of Warcraft as a whole. Folks have discovered that the Kalimdor Racing event is on the in-game calendar, so it's gonna happen during August and it lasts for 2 weeks. So maybe the patch will definitely come before that day. I think it's a bit far to say that the patch would come out like the week of or shortly before those races begin. Like I said, I'm still stuck on late June, early July, which will give time for the Mega Dungeon and the other patch features to, you know, breathe a little bit. And then the Dragon Racing, which is a 2-week event, it's going to be its own breath of fresh air. Dragon Racing achievements in the Eastern Kingdoms are also available on the PTR. It doesn't mean that it's going to go live yet. The WoW team did explicitly say that dragon riding would eventually be a thing everywhere, and we're going to slowly see these pieces come together in data mining, patches, and so on, even if they're not fully implemented right away. Data miners have also discovered items that correspond to having dragon racing events in every expansion. That's going to mean dragon racing will be on all the major continents. But let's go back to dragon riding for now. Long term, we're going to see up to 10 dragon racing events across the calendar, with it growing with each new expansion. There's no telling if events will overlap or how much time there's going to be between each one, but of course the immediate reaction from some are going to be like, whoa, 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 so I gotta get gold in every race in this event within 2 weeks, otherwise I gotta wait for it to rotate back in again? Even if the events were back to back to back, you'd be looking at racing through a particular cup like maybe 4 weeks out of the year. Now, was that good or bad? That's for you to tell me. What we're seeing here, though, is a rollout of a vision of World of Warcraft that's been in the making, but now the WoW team is making a pretty big push. This is speculation, but I want you to hear me out. I think I'm onto something. World of Warcraft is, without a doubt, a big-ass game. It's got hundreds of zones and dungeons and raids with an amount of content and activities in them it's pretty hard to quantify. With every expansion, the game gets that much bigger, and yet, where's the content? Easy joke, but WoW traditionally funnels players towards the latest stuff, towards the endgame, leaving these older zones and dungeons and raids to kind of languish. But slowly that's been changing. Time walking rotates in, bringing dungeons back to life 1 week in, 2 weeks off. Mythic Plus is doing something similar with these, well, both weekly and seasonal rotations. The Trading Post is bringing in new items every month, sometimes bringing old stuff back that's no longer accessible. Soon we're going to have another round of these ancient recipes thrown into some old dungeon. There's no difficulty increase from those dungeons or places or raids or whatever, just a farm fest for recipes to redeliver long-lost transmog. And now, in this extended rollout, we're going to get dragon racing events that I've convinced myself that they give a very fresh look at these old zones that we're mostly used to just flying through because we're just trying to get to the next raid to farm for transmog. And I expect these to go on a rotation as well. But I also want to acknowledge the discourse. There are those out there who want everything available all at once, all the time. No FOMO. They want to log in and enjoy as much or as little as they feel like. They want to log in knowing that the game has not changed, and there's nothing wrong with that. But now we're kind of going into the realm of opinion. I don't think that approach isn't more correct or more right either. At least I don't think so. World of Warcraft, like many MMOs, is a living and breathing game. When you're not logged in, there's still stuff going on. The WoW team is reshaping the landscape to where when you log in, they want something slightly different for you to do each time. Like, oh hey, it's Time Walking Week, and here are what the profession dailies, here's what the profession weeklies are asking for this time, and hey, here's the weekly PvP brawl, and then on another week, it's like, oh hey, there's the dungeon event, and these are the affixes over in Mythic Plus World, and oh, you know what? That dragon racing thing is happening over on this continent now. These next few patches, and probably for many patches to come, we're going to see this incremental old world revamp, but in ways that we didn't quite expect. Now, I listened to the outcry for like a really big visual revamp, but I also question the need for it unless there's like a significant story that calls for it. I could easily be wrong. I just have reservations that we'll see another cataclysm, a redrawing of the world, because honestly, if there was going to be, it would have been after Legion, when the planet got shanked and there was a clear opportunity for a worldwide war around Azeroth. Dragonflight has been showing us that the team has been taking very methodical and measured steps to improve the evergreen parts of the game, like talents, professions, UI, all these different rotating events and rewards to change things up, bringing back old transmog in a tasteful and not very difficult way, and now the world itself. All of these are designed with the intent to not feel super overwhelming. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still an urgency to do it until it's gone for now sort of mindset, but there's also that feeling of boom, here's a giant game-wide system that is massive, and you gotta wonder, okay, shoot, where do I start? Again, I'm speaking just for me, but that's more than I could handle. It's been over 10 years, and I've still barely scratched the surface on the Cataclysm storylines because it's just all so much that happened at once. I don't think I'd be able to handle doing all the time walking raids at once on top of the current raid if that was a thing. I would be kind of making choices that I'd prefer to not make. With some of these things coming on a schedule, I can at least sort of plan around it if I need to, or skip it so I can do other things. It's like what I think they're trying to do here works great for my gamer brain. It makes WoW feel like this, again, a living, breathing world with lots to do and to get lost in it, while in other cases, like the time walking and dragon racing, there's a routine to direct me and tug me in a different direction. But for now, this is where we're at, and apparently the direction that we're going. I want to hear your thoughts below on how you feel about these rotating events that cynically compel players to be present year-round. Is it really this insidious plot to keep your sub? Is it the right move to keep the world interesting? And if you're probably in the middle, where do you stand? That's the show, and there is Diablo to be enjoyed. I'm going to be playing a lot of it, so you can expect a spoiler-free amateur review of the beginning to the early endgame experience here on this channel. I'm still going to cover WoW as always, but my live streams on Twitch, those are going to be full of Diablo content. I'm going to be there for the drops and for the Support a Streamer program, where gifting 2 subs on my channel means that you get a Diablo mount. And not a WoW mount, mind you, it's a Diablo mount. That's going to start on launch day, June 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and continues on for the next month. We're going to be in Sanctuary for a while, folks, so I hope to see you in-game or on stream chat, but again, expect the usual round of WoW coverage. And now let's give some thanks to the folks on Twitch. Y'all have been so supportive, and I hope to meet more of you soon. To my valued patrons, I appreciate you, I love you folks, and to you viewer, thank you for making it to the end. Now viewers, come on, tab back over and hit the like button for good luck. May your drops be plentiful. I'll see you in hell, and don't die. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.